Growing up in LA, sports is a huge part of the culture.
It's been a part of our life since we were young.
And no team brings people together
like the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Once we realized we both weren't making the league, we wanted ways to stay involved in sports.
So we set out on a journey to Dodger Stadium in order to find people who work behind the scenes.
My name is Emily Walthouse, and I'm the Director of Planning and Development at the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I am Mark Kazaya. I am an assistant in baseball operations with the Dodgers.
Sierra Van Dyke, and I'm the Manager of Marketing and Promotions.
Mark Arroyo, and I'm a Community Affairs Manager with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Cindy Carrasco. I am the Manager of our Guest Services Department.
My main responsibilities are to oversee all capital improvement projects at Dodger Stadium. So that's all construction and renovation efforts to Dodger Stadium. Over the last 7 years that I've been here, we've done renovations to the interior spaces at Dodger Stadium, which have included renovations to office space, food and beverage, concession stand spaces, premium areas, and we've also done a lot of expansion projects, including most recently the addition of our center field plaza.
With the team, I am responsible for all of the immigration for all our players and coaches, making sure that they have all their passports, visas, helping out the Dominican, Venezuelan, Mexican players to get over to the United States and being able to play in one of our organization minor league affiliates. I also take a look at the free agent market to see what free agents should sign for, what ones we're interested in, what we should offer them based on career numbers, platform year numbers, as well as like a 2 to 3 year look to see how they're progressing. And there's there's a bunch of stuff like that kind of factors into what we should or shouldn't pay certain players.
So my responsibilities are, I manage our assets. So we have things like first pitches, it's time for Dodger baseball, on-field recognition, center field recognitions. We have programs like Kids Take the Field, National Anthem, Heritage Anthems, performances, etc. that all take place during pregame. And we have a limited amount of assets.
Main responsibilities. Okay, so generally I oversee the community affairs programming. This involves several different initiatives. One, for example, is our military initiatives. There's 81 home games in a season. For each home game, we recognize a military hero, somebody who served in the military. We recognize them. So doing all the logistics for helping to recognize them in the game. In addition, for special events, we have big flag ceremony where we have like a big flag unfurled for like opening day and 4th of July, games like that. There's also the flyover, coordinating with the military and local air bases to have like a fighter jet or some type of aircraft fly over the stadium on another special day.
So if you've been to a Dodger game, you know that there is someone who takes your tickets. There is staff who helps you to your seats. If you have any questions, so that's all my staff. My staff starts greeting you from checking your tickets to making sure that you are in the right section, in the right seat, anywhere in the stadium.
I think my path was probably that I didn't have a path for a little while. When I graduated college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I ended up taking a job with a minor league baseball team in the area, doing anything and everything as an intern there. So everything from handing out bobbleheads at the gates before the game to making pizzas, in a concession stand to answering the phone on non-game days. And I really, really connected with all of the people that I was working with, and I just felt that everybody there had such a passion for this fan experience, this communal experience of a baseball game that brings fans together, brings people together for a common interest. And I just really, really enjoyed that in a way that I hadn't enjoyed a lot of other things that I had explored professionally, either through internships or other jobs I had had. And so I started applying to jobs in baseball and ultimately ended up at the Dodgers. My first job at the Dodgers was administrative assistant in our planning and development department, and have spent the last 7 years learning on the job and gaining more experience, and I'm director of planning and development.
I had an interesting path, to say the least. I was a football player in college and high school. Had a few NFL tryouts, didn't pan out to anything. Decided to end up going to law school. I went to Southwestern Law School, graduated in 2020. Passed the bar exam, California bar exam in 2020 as well. Worked as an attorney for like 6 months, and I didn't really like it. I knew from the beginning law school wasn't for me, but it was just something that I had to do. It was the quickest outlet for me to get transition from football to real life. So yeah, I worked as an attorney with entertainment law firm out in Newport Beach. Kind of just wanted to get away from the legal stuff, and baseball's always been a passion of mine. Even though I played football, I also played baseball in high school and college. So I just kind of jumped ship and wanted to like find my whole career essentially. And I started. I have a family friend of mine that works with the Dodgers, and I shot him a note like, "Hey, dude, I'm trying to transition out of legal. Like, what's happening with the Dodgers?" And he told me that there was like a lower level entry position available, and I was like, I got to get my foot in the door. And I took the job, and here I am 3 years later.
So I grew up in Ohio, and I went to school in Cleveland, and I got an internship in sports. It was for a nonprofit, like sports tourism. They brought special events to the city of Cleveland, just working as a marketing intern. And then kind of realized that sports was something that I was interested in. I didn't necessarily know that before, and then just started getting opportunities. You know, I had the internship, but then I realized this is what I wanted to do, and that it's also a very competitive field. So building my resume as much as I could by volunteering for, you know, various events. There'd be basketball tournaments. I volunteered at the time, it was the Cleveland Indians, for their World Series. Just any opportunity I could get, I took it.
I would have never thought in a million years I'd be working for a sports team, let alone the Dodgers. In high school I was in leadership. One of my positions was to be like the the sports kind of, I don't know what it was, let's call it like commissioner of sports. And within that I would talk to local coaches, and we would recognize different student athletes. But that was my only sports experience. My background was in urban planning and was in kind of community affairs, community relations. I came from a public art background, went to grad school in planning and did more like graphic design / urban design. And then when I worked at LA Metro, I was kind of exposed to a lot of different partnerships. One of the partners was with the Dodgers. I did cross promotions. With the Dodgers, I requested alumni to participate at community events. I hosted press events where the Dodgers would be there. So over time I was more familiar with the community side of the Dodgers. And when I found out about that position, I was really excited. I thought it aligned with my experience, and it was just a matter of already being exposed to what the organization does and finding my way into the organization based on my experience.
I think I was always a baseball fan. So when I know I was always a baseball fan. So when I started working for the minor league team, and I found that I was connecting with all of those people because of the common interest in the sport, that my knowledge of baseball and my love of baseball definitely had something to do with it. But I think it was more so a love of the way that you feel when you go to a baseball game, more so than the game itself or stats and players and things like that. It was more the experience of sitting in a row of seats with people that you want to be with, having ice cream, or going early and getting to walk around the ballpark and see the sights. And so I think that helped me connect with the people. That's why I developed sort of a very specific interest in continuing a career in baseball.
For sure. I mean, I grew up in LA. I was born and raised in Downey. I've been a Dodger fan my whole life. So like getting a job with this team was like my family loves it. They get all the tickets, all the bobbleheads. So they get a huge kick out of it, and they were super supportive of me transitioning away from legal background into more sports. So I think, yeah, it's definitely sports passion was fun to make this job happen.
I was a sports fan. Yeah, I played sports. I'm super competitive. I think that's a huge thing. Like, I love being on a team. I love winning. I love like excelling in something, no matter what it is. And yeah, I like sports. I think my dad's a sports fan. I'm a sports fan. Like, but I don't think that's it made me want to work in sports. I didn't even know I liked it until I got an internship, and I was like, oh, this is actually really cool and fun.
Prioritization, I would say, because there are so many things going on at one time. It's easy for things to feel like they're the most important thing in a moment, the most urgent need. But I constantly have to remind myself that at different times, you need to be pushing forward long-term projects in addition to the day-to-day sort of urgent needs.
Honestly, the hardest part is getting the immigration stuff from the players. So like players are very hard to get a hold of sometimes. So like whenever I need a picture of their passport or their visa in order to process that stuff, that can be the hardest part because you'll get days without a response from the players. So I want to say communicating with the players is probably the hardest part.
Hardest part of my job is definitely prioritizing and being able to serve some, and also living with the fact that I can't help everybody. There's only 6 of us in our department, and there's, I like to say, millions or hundreds of thousands of fans across the globe for the Dodgers, and unfortunately we're unable to help everybody. There's limitations in everything we can do, and sometimes we work long hours, and it's sometimes difficult to not be able to help some people because you just need to get home and get some rest. So I would say that's the most difficult part.
If you're thinking about baseball specifically, I would highly recommend looking into minor league baseball. When you work for a minor league team, you have to do anything and everything. And that's true for NCAA work as well. If you are hired for one job, you're going to do 6 or 7 other jobs. And that gives you insights into different areas of a business, which is extremely beneficial for you to work out what your own interests are. But it also makes you really attractive as a potential employee because your boss knows, or your future boss or hiring manager would know, that no job is ever going to be too small for you.
I think honestly you have to have a passion for sport would be my first recommendation, because I feel like if you don't really understand the sport itself, it's going to be hard for you to kind of like figure out what's happening within the organization, within the team. And then also another thing of mine that I'm really passionate about, sometimes you got to take a risk. So like if it's something that you really want to do and you have the family support and the support behind you to like take a risk and take a job that's not going to be what you went to school for, I think that's completely okay, because it just opens up so many doors if you can take that risk, take that leap of faith and see where it takes you.
I would say, being eager to try new things is huge. Like taking on different responsibility, even if it's something you didn't see yourself doing, like just say yes to things.
I would tell any young person to, one, do what you love, and it's always not about money. Yes, money makes us, have food on our table and a home, but if you're not happy with what you're doing, you're going to live a miserable life. So worry more about what makes you happy and then follow that career. It can take you many different directions.
Everyone has different interests, and there's room in sports for all of them when working at the Dodgers.
After interviewing some of the most vital people at Dodger Stadium, we have learned different ways we too can work in professional sports.
By watching these interviews, we hope that people who are interested are encouraged to find a job in sports.
If we were able to interest anybody about our passion in sports, then we have achieved our goal in this project.
Thank you for watching.